All right, thank you all for coming. My name is Sterling Reeser. I'm a program manager on the Windows User Experience Group, or the Shell. Our team does a lot of the stuff here that you see up here, like the new logon screen and the visual styles and things like that. So let's just get right into it. When we went out to design the new look and the new features that are in Windows XP, we had two main things we really wanted to focus on. And that was, we wanted to make scenarios possible instead of probable. To give you a quick example of that, so with Windows Millennium, right, I can take a digital camera, pull my pictures down and email them to whoever, right? But if I want to make them smaller, so that I don't somebody like 2 megs worth of files or something, I have to use a third-party app to go ahead and shrink them down. So I mean, sure, for people in the room and for me and for most of the people who work here, that's pretty easy to do, right? I mean, it's kind of a pain because there's an extra step, but it is possible to do. I can't expect my mom or my dad to do that. There's no way they're going to be able to figure that out. And they'll be calling me, oh, Sterling, how do we do this? So I don't want to deal with that. So what we've done is we've made it a simple end-to-end scenario. And you'll see that later on as we go in. But just keep that in mind. We wanted to make things possible, not just probable. The second thing we wanted to do is we wanted a real holistic design. As John was saying, it's very important that we have like a different look, something that's, it's done in the automobile industry, it's done in a lot of other industries, it's very important to marketing. So that's why we have these new visual redesign. But it's holistic, meaning we want your Windows experience to begin, not when you log in and you start your session, but actually from when you boot your computer. That's why when you boot the computer, you see the new Windows logo, it says welcome to Windows, and then also to the packaging as well. I mean, you can see like the banner we have for Expert Zone, it's built around the new Windows visual refresh, the new redesign. And I haven't seen the marketing box yet, but I'm told that when we actually ship the retail box, it'll have that same look. So that's what we mean by holistic design, from complete end-to-end scenario. Anyway, let's get started right in with the logon screen. What we like to do quite a bit is leverage technology that already exists. So for example, in Windows 2000, there already is the NT profiles model, where you can have total data separation. If you use NTFS, you can go ahead and lock down files per user profile and things like that. But it's actually quite cumbersome to use because, well, let's say you had 2 people and they were sharing a computer and they were actually using profiles. Well, when one person's logged on, if another person wants to use the machine, they're going to have to close down all their programs, log off. The new person's going to have to type in their new username. If they have a password, type that in, and then start up their profile, restart up all their programs, and it is kind of cumbersome. So what we've done is we've leveraged that NT profile model by, so what we've done is we've leveraged that profile model by creating this new feature called fast user switching. And I'll show that to you, but let me just get into the welcome screen here. So to make it really easy with profiles, what we do is we have all the usernames that have a profile are listed here. To make it very personable, they have user tiles, and you can go and pick whatever picture you want. We've made it very easy so that we have hover effects and things like that. Let's just go ahead and log in here as Speed Racer. Also, another thing that we do is we're able to pump messages. So Speed Racer has 37 unread mail messages. Now, it won't tell you who the mail messages are from, obviously, but if I were to click on this, see it shows like speedracer@hotmail.com. If Speed Racer had multiple accounts, so let's say he had 3 or 4 different email accounts, it would list them all right here, and then it would then just sum up the total number of unread emails. So if I had like 4 from an MSN account, it would say 41, for example. Okay, so just to show you the fast user switching feature, how it can work is, let's say I was typing a document, okay? And then somebody else wanted to go in and use the program, but I'm not sure that I want to save my changes yet. If we were using Windows 2000 and we wanted to use the profiles, I'd have to make a decision to save it or not save it, close down all my programs, and then have that new person log on. Now what I can do is just click log off. And this is pretty cool. We added this new fading effect. When the log off dialog comes up, everything will turn to gray, which I think is kind of cool. It's just a cute little thing we added in there. Okay, and then I want to just go in and actually show you that it's working. So I'm going to log in as a new user. And here you can see you can go ahead and add a password if you want to. So we'll just go ahead and type in a password. And, oops, oh, I typed in the wrong password. I have a hint over here, right, because I knew I'd forget it. So I click on the hint, and, oh, did you forget the, password again? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, whew. All right. Let's back up. So while John was talking, I was kind of playing solitaire as Trixie. But just to show you that it's actually running. And you can see I've got a different wallpaper. And you can have the total different user environment. And this is using all of the NT profile stuff. So if you had a family, and you could have dad, and he could have, like, no wallpaper, very somber, whatever he wants. And then you could have little Billy with Pokemon everywhere if you wanted to. So that's really cool that we can offer that. But let's go back into the Speed Racer account, because the next thing I want to show you guys is pretty cool. Okay, great, we're back. Okay. So as I was saying, this feature is still under NDA. It won't be out for the next build you guys get won't have it, but the build after that should. So it should take 2 to 3 weeks. We'd appreciate if you guys kept it quiet on this until it's actually out. So we're showing you today. We understand you guys aren't going to show everyone. So that is we have the regular Luna theme, which is the default color scheme, the blue, which is really cool. We have another look. This is more of a conservative look, Homestead. It's actually really cool. Let's go ahead and apply that. Hopefully the video projector won't go nuts on us, but we'll see. I don't have the fastest laptop in the world, so that's why it's kind of chugging along here. So you can see the colors; they're pretty subdued. They're, it's different. It's just something really cool that we just added in. But I'm going to go ahead and do this demo in metallic because I think metallic's really cool. So we'll go ahead and enable metallic. Metallic's cool because it makes it when you look at the buttons and things, they have like a little sheen to them, a little glistening to them. It's really cool. Wait for this to pop up. Okay, so this is metallic. It is really sweet. Okay, so let's start off first with the desktop. So when you actually go out and see an actual OEM box or you buy a brand new Windows XP machine, the desktop will look like this. What I mean by this is you won't see tons of icons. So the thing that just freaks me out is like I'll go to like computer store, or I'll flip channels and see like the Home Shopping Network, and they'll be selling computers, and I'll just look and there'll be like 40, 50 icons all over the desktop, and I'll just be like, oh my god, people always tell me, oh, Windows is so hard to use, and I'm like, well, duh. I mean, if there's 40, 50 icons all over the desktop, I mean, and I've never used a computer, I wouldn't know what to do. Well, obviously. So by having a clean desktop, what that does is it helps push people towards the start menu, and we've redesigned the start menu. What we've learned from our usability studies and from dealing with customers is that there are 4 main things that people like to do with PCs. 1 is surf the web, 2 is check email, 3 is run the programs, and 4 is get access to all their files. So if you actually look at the new start menu, that's what it goes after. I mean, right at the very top, internet, oh, pretty easy to find. Email, right there. And then if you want to run your programs, we have this most frequently used list. And as you start using programs, the more often that they're used, they'll start to bubble up on this list. And the more, if you use, like let's say I use Notepad all the time, pretty soon it'll become my #1 app. You can go in and customize it to show as many apps as you want. By default, it shows 6. But if you want to put 20, great. I mean, I use Windows XP every day, and just for me to get all my work done and stuff like that, I find that 6 is more than adequate. Let's see. Let me show you this glomming feature that we have here, which is really cool. With Windows 2000, as you start opening programs, so let's say like I open like Notepad and things like that, as I start opening programs down here, what'll happen is if I have like 20 things open, I'll get these little tiny windows, and they'll be like about this big, and all I can see is the icon. I don't know what's going on. So, and plus they'll show up sporadically throughout. So, give you an idea of that. Let's say I get in here and start running Outlook Express. I may get some error messages because I'm not connected, but don't worry about that.
That's a new feature, too.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So as I start creating new mail messages, you'll see that they'll appear next to Outlook Express. Nah, go away. So let's say I wanted to run media player next. Let's go ahead and display a file. No, that's fine. I don't want any audio. Okay. So you can see that it's appearing down here. Okay, just a second here. My machine's thinking here. Okay. As I start creating new mail messages, in Windows 2000, they would start to appear over here, and then they would be out of order. What we do is we start grouping things in like tasks. And remember I was talking earlier that if you had like tons of things open, everything will start to collapse, will be so small that all you'll see is the icon. You won't have any idea what you've got. We have this new glomming feature, where as I start opening like windows, and I start running out of space on my taskbar, I think it's going to happen, just happened right here. It goes ahead and it groups everything under one menu. And you can just click on it and then pick, if I actually had titles, right, they wouldn't all say new message. So I would know, oh, this is, yeah.
So we can see it.
Oh, you can't see the bottom? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did unlock it. There it goes. There you go. All right. There you go. So then you can see that they're all in a group. And then if I wanted to close them all, I could just right-click on them and just close everything, and they'd all just close out at one time. That's really cool. Okay. The other thing that we've done too is, as we were talking about with the notification chevron, where you can hide and show things as they appear here. So a lot of problems that we've seen with OEM computers is they'll have lots of stuff in the sys tray, and it might go all the way out to here and take up a lot of real estate. You can go ahead and hide them if you want, and then you can have more real estate back. And as things appear, so like if Messenger actually popped up a message for me, it would then show itself. Next, I'd like to get in and show you guys my docs. So again, the message was to make it simple, simple, simple. So we have this task list here. And as you have files, when you click on a file, you'll get a related task for it. So let's just say I just had a simple, like a text doc here. For us, for example, it's really easy to rename a file, copy a file, move a file, things like that. We found that novice users have a lot of problems doing that. So what we have here is, as you click on it, I need to rename the file, move the file, copy the file. It's really easy to do. It's very simple. This is called task-based UI, and it just made it very, very simple for people to use. My Documents defaults to this new view state called Tile View. And what's nice about it is it actually gives you information that tells you, this is the title of it, what type of document it is, and how big it is. If I'm using Icon View, which is our standard view in Windows 2000, I have to right-click on it and choose Properties or go into Details View or something like that to actually get that kind of rich information. This has done really well for usability with novice users, and people that have used Windows for a while really like this new view state, so it's working out really great for us. Another thing that we have is the folders have the ability to sniff the content and see what's in there and then display the correct view state accordingly. So for example, when I go into My Pictures folder, I've got lots of images in here. So it goes, you have image files. Let's put it in thumbnail view state, because you probably want to see previews of them. So it shows them all here in thumbnail view state. But if I go into a folder that doesn't have a lot of files, like if I go into this Japan folder, it goes, you don't have that many. And since you don't have a lot, let's put you in this cool view that gives you a big open preview. This would be pretty cumbersome to have if I had like 50 files in here, where thumbnail view would probably be more appropriate. So it knows, based on how many files you have, what type of file types there are, to show you the correct view state.
What's the number where it switches?
Sure. So he asked what the cutting line is, and it's based on how big your screen size is, and then it just computes that way. So it's dynamic, right? So if you're running 16 by 12 and you have 6 items, it'll work. But if you were running 6 by 4, it wouldn't. So I don't have a camera with me today, but I still wanted to simulate what would happen. So what I have is I have pictures here on a memory card. So it'll do the same thing. So I stick it in. It sees it. It's just giving it a second here. So I want to show you guys the scanner and camera wizard. So I can pick that and click OK. And then it'll walk me through how I actually want to download pictures onto my computer, which makes it really easy. So it's going to look and search and see. And it's like, oh, you have this camera, the wizard. So let's go through and just click next. OK, it found the pictures. I can go ahead and uncheck the pictures I don't want or check if I want them all. And then, yeah, I want all 6 pictures. Sure, that's cool. Then it'll tell me, I'm going to dump them here. And what do you want to name them? I don't want to name them picture, so I want to name it something else. So we'll call it Northwest. And then it's creating here, see, under my pictures, it's creating a subfolder called Northwest. And then the images are being copied down. And then this is cool because, as I was saying earlier, if you wanted to do things like put them up on the web or send them out to your friends or whatever, it would be a third step that you'd have to go do independently. But right here, when I'm done with the scanner, when I'm done with the wizard, if I want to publish to the web, I can just click right here, and then it will then give me a list of providers that I can go to. If I already have one that I'm signed up with, they'll appear in that box as well. If I want to order prints online, I can do this, and it'll send those prints out, and then in a few days in the mail, I'll have actual hard copies if I want. And then nothing. I think we're done. Just on here. Click finish. And it's generating a preview, and boom, they're right here. And what's cool also is because it knows these are pictures, it's going to offer me picture-related tasks I can view as a slideshow. And let's say, oh, I like this picture of Rainier, and I want to go ahead and just send this out to like my mom or something. So if I click email the file, it'll ask me right here, do you want to make them smaller? And this will automatically make them smaller, so I don't have to use some third-party program to do that because I don't want to be a good citizen and not send somebody a big 4 meg file. Hey, look at my pictures. So this makes it really easy. Go ahead and go into... Now, I know they're going to talk more about my music later. I just wanted to touch on some quick things that we're doing. So if you were to go ahead and rip a CD using Windows Media Player, it'll actually go out if you're connected and get cover art. As you can see right here, I've got Aerosmith, just push play the new album. And this one, it has 4, and that's because the Led Zeppelin box set, which has 4 CDs. So what it actually did was copy the art down into each folder, which is really cool. It was really slick. I wanted to show you guys the matrix because, as you know, it's got lots of different artists. So if I run this guy in tile view, I can go ahead and see who the artist is and things like that. But also, if I want to, when I arrange it, I can choose to sort it in groups. And then if I want to, I can go ahead and sort it by album, artist. So let's sort it by artist. And boom, all the titles are in there by artist. I think that's just really sweet. Okay. Next I want to show you guys is my computer. We did some changes to it as well. My computer used to have a lot of other tasks in there that kind of confused users. So we just try to make it really simple. I mean, this is just a place they want to go to get their files, make it really easy for them to just dig around and find everything. So you got it automatically comes up, defaults to this sort by group view state, and it defaults to this tile view. Using the folder task, we try and predict what users would want to do. So maybe they went to my computer because they wanted to change a setting or something. So that you can just click on this hyperlink and it'll take you there. Maybe I actually wanted to go here because I'm out of hard drive space and I want to remove programs, which is very common. People open my computer, they'll go in and they'll see, oh, I don't have any more room on my system drive. I need to start to uninstall programs. Well, we have a link right here to add remove programs. And then poof, it'll just launch right away, and then you can delete whatever you want. Last thing I kind of wanted to show you guys is the control panel. Now what we've done here is this is a new UI model. We've used inductive UI here. What we mean by inductive UI is instead of the original view was this is what you got in Win2K, right? So you just throw your grandma in here. Hey, yeah, figure it out. You know, it ain't going to happen. You know. So what's nice about having it in this inductive UI is we make it very simple. As you can see here, we're mainly just bubbling up the main things that we find that people actually go into the control panel want to do. Of course, we do have, they can go into the classic view, and we do have other hardware devices and things, so if they need to get into other things, you still can. But you know, for the most part, people want to go in and change the appearances, play with user accounts, do things like that, you know, monkey with the sounds. So we made the most tasks that people do, we pop up here. We ask a question, or we ask a polite command, you know, like pick a task, what do you want to do? So I want to show you guys the user account CPL, and the reason why is this is the first control panel that we've created that actually goes in and takes this inductive UI all the way to the hilt. So the entire control panel is built with inductive UI in mind. So we start off with tasks, and we ask things like, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to change the account? Do you want to create a new account? Do you want to change the way users log on and log off? Then we provide these really big tiles with the people's pictures, so it's very simple for people that want to figure out what they want to do. And then we have all our help topics just right here. So if you want to learn about switching users, about the different account types and things like that, it's very simple. So let's say I want to go into my account, and I want to actually change the picture. Okay, so I go in and I click on it, and what do you want to change? Well, I think I want to change the picture. Okay, well, you click the task, change the picture. This is all what inductive UI is. It's much easier than providing, you know, like a Win32 property sheet type CPL, you know, like display properties, and just saying, here, figure it out. No, this is very simple. It walks people through it. It asks you questions in real English, and it's done very well in our usability studies. And then you just pick the picture that you want, or if you want to browse, we just have the link right there. Again, there's more, there's help topics that tell you about it. And you'll see this more and more in future Windows releases. You'll see us go towards this easy-to-use model. I mean, we found that people have really liked it. So, let's say I want to be the spaceman. So I pick the spaceman, and then these buttons on gray, and then I can change the picture. And then if I click on home, you can see that it's changed. And that's pretty much all that I had to show. Just go ahead and open it up if you guys had any questions. I think we'll go for about, what, till 10 o'clock? So, okay, so I got 15 minutes. Yeah? So her question was, do we do anything like when I stuck the memory stick into the machine, it went to the scanner and camera wizard? And the answer is yes. That's using the autoplay hardware wizard. So let's say I had a USB iOmega zip drive, okay? And I had that thing slapped in, and let's say I had a zip drive with a bunch of MP3s or WMA files on it. If I stick that in, it's going to go, oh, would you like me to play these? So the box will still come up, that first dialog box that asks what you want to do. But one of the tasks in there will be, do you want to play these, or do you want to copy these? Yes, you.
Change users, not available in the domain environment.
Fast user switching is not available on domains. We had a conscious decision to do that. There's a lot of design issues that still need to be worked out. For example, let's say you're at Microsoft and you're on a domain. As you can see with the logon screen we have here, we actually enumerate the user list. What do I do with 10,000 users? So that's a big issue that we have to overcome. There's also back-end issues that need to be fixed that can take advantage of that. And then there's also being some parts of security require that you do not display the username. So it's a big design challenge for us. Not so much a technical challenge. When we were investigating, you know, we tried some early iterations. It is physically it's impossible to do it with the shipping product, but you know, back when we were toying with the idea, you know, it was possible, we were able to do it, but it's not supported, and it won't be in Windows XP for domains. Yes, yes. You can still access. Yeah, you can still access domain resources using the cred UR, the key manager. If you put your domain credentials in there as a key, you can still go ahead and access shares, file shares, you know, download programs, things like that. So I mean, I use it every day at work. Works fine for me. Yes, sir.
You know, in previous Millennium 98, you could switch desktop items by just right-clicking on the desktop. And if you want to add or take one off. Now you got to go into properties, web. It takes about 4 or 5 steps.
Oh, you're talking about like my computer and things like that? Or?
No. You can switch. I like to have a stock ticker up when I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
When the stock market is open, but when it's closed, no sense.
Right.
And you could just right-click the thing. Now you got about 4 steps to get to it.
Correct.
Is that going to change, or?
No, not for. The question was, what are we going to do with Active Desktop and the Active Desktop components? The gentleman mentioned that you have to dig pretty deep into the display property CPL in order to activate and not activate them. That was a conscious decision to do that. Feedback that we've gotten from general users is that that's fine. Don't worry about that. Is that we found that consumers on the whole don't tend to use Active Desktop quite a bit. We found that that's actually a tool that some corporate people use, like to push like schedules and things like that to people. But there's so much overhead to maintain that feature. There's a lot of work involved, and as you start installing different components, it can easily be affected by those other components. So there's a lot of overhead to it, and that was the conscious decision. It will not go away if that's what you're worried about. I mean, it's not going to be gone from the x86 version of Windows XP. It will be in there.
Next question.
Yes.
How will independent third parties integrate into this scheme? You showed a wizard with click-on to print photos from that. What if an independent third party wanted to add that feature to Windows XP? How's that going to work?
So we do have documentation and white papers and MSDN articles that explain how third parties can, for example, add themselves if they want to be on the web publishing page. We're making that publicly available. Yes, sir.
The new intuitive user interface. Turn it on, turn it off.
Okay, the question was the inductive UI. How do you turn it on and turn it off? If you're using it in places like inside, like My Documents and things like that, you can go into the folder options tab and you can choose to turn off the task view, and then it'll be just like having WebView off in Win2K, or it'll look like Win95 full. You can also, in the advanced options, you can choose to show all categories in Control Panel. So there are options under the advanced area, folder options, that you can use to turn that on and off.
You can still right-click. If you're used to right-clicking, the right-click still works. It's just that we're probably the only people in the world that right-click. We found that a lot of people don't. And so that's why you see those adaptive menus.
Right. Yes, sir.
Your desktop themes.
Yes.
It seems right now you can't modify them all, just change the colors and such like that. Are we going to be able to modify just like
you're talking about
colors?
the Windows
Your
XP?
metallic and your Luna and things like that.
Right. So in case you didn't hear, the question was, will you be able to change the Windows XP themes? And the answer is no. We are offering the 3 color choices, which is the default, the Homestead, and Metallic, and that's about it. The main reason why is there's so much power involved in those tools that we've created to create the new look for Windows that you can very easily make the operating system unusable and also make applications unusable. Whenever we go in and make changes, it takes about 3 weeks for us to make sure that these changes are good enough to actually then put that code into the builds that you guys get. So this is just like in our own little area. We go ahead and test everything through, make sure it's fine, and then we put them in. So there's a lot of overhead involved in making sure that Windows works correctly, and that's our main concern. We want to make sure that we ship a product that's stable, that works well with apps, and if we allow modification of those visual redesign, it could cause a lot of problems. So even with the colors, we do have to go in and test things, because what can happen is, for example, if, let's say we're using Metallic, right? Somebody uses hyperlinks on dialog boxes, If we don't go in and make sure that the hyperlink colors change, because metallic is being that it's very whitish, if they were expecting us to use the blue Luna, maybe they had a white text in their hyperlink. Now all of a sudden the hyperlinks are unreadable. So yes, even with colors, there are issues. Oh, here's a question back here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
In the tray area,
Yes.
the order of the icon setup has changed. So instead of coming from the left, now they come from the right. Instead of coming from the right, they come from the left.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your
Okay, it
question.
used to be, since 95, new icons start on the rightmost position
Of the taskbar, you mean like
of the
show-
tray,
Okay,
system tray.
and this guy.
Yeah. Now they start from the left.
Okay.
Is the reason for that known?
I don't have an answer for you for that. Do you, Victor? Victor is one of the developers that we have on the Windows User Experience group. I brought him here in case you guys tried to sabotage me with really hard questions. So he's my backup gun. But I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for that.
And is there a way to turn it the other way?
No, what you can do is you can disable the hiding if you'd like to through by right-clicking on this and choosing properties. And then under here you can choose to not hide inactive icons, and then you can customize which ones you want to hide and which ones you don't want to hide. Have another question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about, get a lot of questions from people finding a central place to change the display properties. Is right-click desktop and look at display properties. Also, right-click my computer, go to manage. Get a lot of questions from people. How do I make the icon menus transparent? And my question: why can't you just say make icons transparent? And there's a lot of things that seem to be in a lot of different places, which would be better to have one place, the drop shadow. And we all figured it out eventually.
Right.
But the average user, maybe you just figured that they don't want to do that. But there's a lot of, what about one place for all that?
So, totally understand. So the question is, how come you guys have all these random places for different settings, and why aren't they all in one central location? I hear exactly what you're saying. We fight about it a lot. There's different reasons why we do some things. So for example, if you wanted to turn on like drop shadows, turn off drop shadows, turn on font smoothing, things like that. Yeah, it could make sense to put it in the display control panel. But then again, those are eye candy that tend to affect perf. So should we put those in an area where you can tweak performance settings, or should we put that in an area where you can tweak UI settings? And the decision for drop shadows and anti-aliasing and things like that was to put them in an area where you could, if a user wanted to shut this stuff off, it's probably because, not that they don't like it, but because their machine is running slow. So we were thinking, well, it would probably make more sense to put them under an area where you can tweak perf settings. And that's why those particular options ended up there.
So put an advanced button that takes you to that.
Right. You're going to get a lot of questions on that.
Right. I'll keep that in mind, and I will go back and talk to the designers of that. But I do appreciate the feedback. I can take one more question, and then I'm out of time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question about the when you did the pictures and you decreased the size of it and emailed it to somebody.
Yes.
When they receive it, do they have an option to increase it back to the original size?
No.
We didn't step through that actual wizard, but actually, can you go ahead and shrink it and open? You don't have an email server.
No, I don't.
Okay. I've seen this done a lot. I've done actually demos on this feature myself several times. And when it optimizes that file to where it's an emailable size, right? Because you don't want to send a 5 meg file over to someone's got a 56K connection. It takes forever. The quality is amazing. It's oohs and ahs all the way around. Microsoft internal people, I demoed this to our field people, and it's hot. So I would suggest trying it yourselves. You guys, when you all get the beta, when you get RC1 especially, give it a shot, send somebody an email and check the quality, but you'll just have to kind of take our word right now that if you send a picture, physical size might still be 3 by 5, let's say, and on the other end, they'll still see 3 by 5, but it compresses within that, the resolution, but the quality is still extremely good, and you can also customize, or at least the build for this one, I know you could you could choose. There was like 3 different levels of that optimization. So it's really hot. So I would suggest trying it. We can't figure out if we don't have a way to email it to ourselves. But thank you, Sterling.